Nike's new ad pairs Caitlin Clark with the Kelce brothers and Travis Scott. The spot introduces Clark through association, using established Nike talent to anchor her entry into the brand. Nike signs Caitlin Clark. Key findings. Nike introduces Caitlin Clark through association rather than explanation, placing her alongside established cultural figures instead of framing her as a breakout newcomer. The Kelce brothers and Travis Scott act as credibility anchors, positioning Clark as part of Nike's core roster rather than a short-term or moment-driven play. The creative favors brand continuity over spectacle, signaling Nike's focus on long-term alignment as women's basketball enters a more visible and commercially significant phase. Nike's first major ad featuring Caitlin Clark does not introduce or explain her, operating on the assumption that the audience already knows who she is. By placing Clark alongside Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, and Travis Scott, the spot immediately situates her within Nike's long-established world of sport and culture. There is no origin story and no sense of arrival. Clark moves through the ad as a peer, not a newcomer. The brand signed Clark in 2024, and this ad debut positions her as a long-term investment rather than a headline-driven activation. The spot was created by Nike's longtime creative partner Conscious Minds and produced by Follow Through, reinforcing a familiar Nike branding continuity. Clark described the partnership in generational terms, saying, "Nike's signature roster features all-time greats, and I am incredibly proud to join some of the best athletes in the world. I'm excited to share a first look at what we've started to create together." This approach avoids novelty, as Clark is not positioned as a breakout or an exception. Familiar faces set the tone. Rather than isolating Clark in a standalone debut, Nike surrounds her with figures who already carry weight across sport and culture. The Kelce brothers bring mainstream sports authority. Travis Scott reinforces Nike's long-standing relationship with music-led influence. Michael Che gives the comedic SNL tone to the spot. Together they provide context that accelerates trust without crowding Clark out of the frame. The WNBA athlete is treated as someone already woven into Nike's ecosystem. That decision reflects a broader shift in how women athletes are introduced at the top tier, with integration replacing spectacle. Nike reinforced that view when it announced Clark as a signature athlete, describing her as an exceptional basketball player and an outstanding ambassador for the game. The language mirrors the ad's restraint, grounded in Clark's record-setting WNBA rookie season and Nike's long-term view of her career. The strategy behind the restraint. Nike's creative choice aligns with the brand's historical approach to building durable athlete brands. New stars are folded into existing structures rather than treated as short-term moments. For Clark, that means inheriting brand equity without losing her own identity. Clark echoed that thinking when discussing her newly unveiled logo, tying it to longevity rather than hype. "To me, this is more than just a logo, it's a dream come true," she said. "People always talk about leaving your mark on the game, and this is another way I can do that." The ad reflects Nike's confidence that consistency, not spectacle, will shape the next phase of women's basketball's growth. Nike's debut offers clear marketing signals by navigating fast-rising athletes and expanding categories. Integration builds credibility. Contextual placement can accelerate legitimacy without heavy messaging. Long-term framing changes perception. Treating Clark as already embedded sets expectations beyond seasonal cycles. Cultural adjacency still matters. Music and sport continue to reinforce relevance when used with restraint. The creative avoids attention chasing, instead establishing footing and signaling that Nike's focus is on staying power rather than a rival. Our take. Do women athletes still need an introduction? We think this ad quietly argues that they do not. From our perspective, Nike makes a deliberate choice not to explain Caitlin Clark or soften her presence. She is not framed as a phenomenon that needs translation. She is treated as an athlete who already belongs inside the brand's ecosystem, and that choice feels overdue and meaningful. We believe that matters because it points to a future where women's sports are built through consistency and belief rather than constant justification. Clark's impact has been immediate, measurable, and hard to ignore, not because she represents a cultural moment, but because she performs at the highest level. Seeing Caitlin Clark positioned as a long-term investment reflects a shift we think is important. It suggests Nike is applying the same patience and confidence to women's careers that men's athletes have long received. The release follows a stretch of heightened scrutiny around Nike's cultural decisions, including recent backlash tied to its NBA Christmas Day jersey rollout. Looking to partner with a top digital agency that understands culture, performance, and brand longevity? Explore DesignRush's vetted agencies.